Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Matt Rhule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers starting to get some fireworks in the 2024 class. I spent probably too much time on my weekend trying to decipher Matt Rhule emoji tweets, and you're starting to see the fireworks kind of start landing. 3-star running back Kewan Lacy from the state of Texas, and this is a guy that was sought after by teams like Miami, Ole Miss, Baylor, and also has a track background. Of course, that is going to be something I think you're going to see a lot with a lot of these guys coming into Nebraska. Matt Rhule's been a dude that has prioritized speed, specifically verified track speed. And you take a look at who they have in the ship. Like it is a lot of guys that have verified burning track and field numbers as well. Now we're going to get into Kewan Lacy and also talk about the massive recruiting weekend for Nebraska that they had last weekend, potentially Carter Nelson on the way as well. Before we do, though, again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the Nebraska fans. We're Michigan fans, but we've been to Nebraska. It's been, if you kind of rank my favorite game experiences, Nebraska at the top of the list. Just phenomenal fan base, very passionate, very welcoming. I even got my Hastings, Nebraska sweatshirt on. So shout out you guys supporting the boys. If you do enjoy the content, you like the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, Michigan fan, but as a college football fan, I want to see this Nebraska program back on top. The fans deserve it. I think college football fans deserve it. And under Matt Rhule, I feel like you're pretty optimistic about where this program is going. Now, let's get into Kewan Lacy. The most impressive thing, I mean, you're looking at a 6-foot, 205-pound running back with a very thick lower half, 10.7 900-meter dash time. Like that isn't exactly what Matt Rhule wants in a running back. He's very good out of the backfield too. We'll dive into a little bit of his film. Really good contact balance. He runs the ball extremely hard. And then when it does get time to hit the open field, kind of hit that gas, Kewan Lacy has plenty of that. Again, 205-pound dude running a 10.7 900-meter time. That is really, really impressive. Let's get into Kewan Lacy and what he brings to the table. And it makes sense why a lot of programs wanted this kid, even though 24/7 Sports might not be that high on him. The first thing you're going to see, the contact balance, like really good feet. I mean, I think he broke like 8 tackles on this first play, which is just a straight up alpha dog. Runs the ball extremely hard, does not want to go to the ground. That is some special stuff. And the next couple of things you'll see is when he gets into space, and he's really good at catching the ball out of the backfield too, which is something rare for running backs. And that is something that I think Matt Rhule probably values a lot. And then you see the contact balance again. And then when it gets time to hit that open field, he's pointing at the guy. He has the burners too, which is rare. It's a rare blend of thick lower half, good size. But when it gets time to hit the burners, he certainly has that too. Again, getting after it out of the backfield certainly does it. Hits the burners. You guys getting kind of a feel for what Kewan Lacy brings to the table. And one thing to note is Nebraska not necessarily values what 24/7 Sports, especially under the Matt Rhule era. You take a look at the commits that Matt Rhule has in the ship, and it's still a solid class. This will be their 18th commitment. It'll be a top 20 class in the country, potentially taking a bump if you can get a guy like Carter Nelson, Grant Bricks, Ernest Campbell into the fold as well. But Matt Rhule doesn't care about stars. He never has one, whether it's time at Temple or Baylor. What Matt Rhule specializes in, and what is partly why he's such a successful coach, is two things. One, talent evaluation. Like 24/7 Sports, they got a team of scouts and they'll stack these high school guys. Matt Rhule has in his scouting department, have a very different list on how they kind of rank some of these players. And going back to Matt Rhule's time at Baylor, you take a look at his classes, bringing in a guy like Jalen Petrie, who was outside the top 700. He eventually is an All-American second-round draft pick. Tyquan Thornton, a guy that was outside the top 50 top 500 nationally. He becomes a second-round draft pick. Terrell Bernard plays for my Buffalo Bills. He was a guy that was a 3-star recruit out of high school. Matt Rhule is really good at kind of, I don't know if you call him diamond in the roughs, but his talent evaluation is elite. And then you all know how he runs a program and his player development. That is top-notch too. So you combine elite recruiting and elite talent evaluation with player development and culture that Matt Rhule is going to bring. That's why you see Matt Rhule at the college football level just win everywhere he's gone. Now, you have 18 commits in the fold. I kind of want to talk a little bit about what this class could be, right? Because you're talking about this could be one of the better classes Nebraska fans have seen because they are trending for a lot of really talented guys. And we got to start with Carter Nelson first. He commits, I believe, Wednesday. We'll be talking about that. So, again, if you guys do enjoy the commentary, lock and subscribe. We'll try to get on that as quickly as possible. But I'm sure Nebraska fans are well aware of what Carter Nelson brings to the table. 6'4", 210 pounds, runs an 11-second 100-meter dash time for a dude that is 6'4", 210 pounds. That's absolutely insane. Phenomenal basketball player, 7-foot high jump. The list goes on and on. Like, he is a legitimate robot in terms of his physical traits. Another guy I want to talk about, though, Grant Bricks. It sounds like Nebraska is getting some traction there, battling Kansas State, and this is not a very good tackle class in terms of what you hear from the scouts, what you hear from the coaches. Grant Bricks, a top 100 national dude. He's the 5th best tackle in the class from the state of Iowa. I would not be surprised if Nebraska wants to turn up the heat on a guy like Grant Bricks. You could certainly see him join the fold, and you're talking about 2 top 100 nationally ranked players joining Nebraska's class in 2024. And then you look down the list, there's another guy that I'm just extremely excited about, Ernest Campbell. 10-3 100-meter dash time. I think it might be 10-2s. I mean, again, another guy who's a flyer. He's a little bit undersized, but this dude has some absolute juice. I saw some videos of him running track. It was impressive, and I'm not like a track and field scout, but this dude absolutely burns. You're looking at Nebraska potentially finishing with the top 15 class, and again, you go down the list. Daniel Kalen showed out at Elite 11. Isaiah McMorris, another guy who has great track time. Davon Hall, both from Bellevue West, which is worth noting that Scott Frost never had a great relationship with that Bellevue West pipeline, you might say. Matt Rhule, certainly seeming like he has that relationship humming along with Daniel Kalen, Isaiah McMorris, and Davon Hall, all joining the class, locking down the state of Nebraska, then going into the state of Texas and really turning it up as well. This is going to be a really fun team to watch, and I think what you're even more optimistic about if you are a Nebraska fan is what happens when Nebraska starts winning games. Because I'll tell you, whether it's year 1 or year 2, Matt Rhule wins where he goes. And I am very confident that Matt Rhule, being given the keys to this program, which is an absolute powerhouse program, he's going to start winning football games. Once Nebraska starts winning and these recruits see Nebraska kind of getting back to where it belongs as a college football program, I think that's where you start seeing the recruiting maybe go from, top 15, that's solid, to maybe cracking the top 10 national recruiting rankings, because this is a program that hasn't had a winning season in a while, and you're still bringing in guys, and Matt Rhule is still convincing guys to see his vision. Once that vision starts to be present on the football field on Saturdays, that's when you're going to see some real jump in the hype around this Nebraska program. Again, another massive win for Matt Rhule on the recruiting trail. Getting really hot, right? Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris last week, Ernest Campbell, potentially Carter Nelson coming this week. Very fun time to be a Nebraska fan. And again, this is a program that you just want to see win. You just want to see them start winning. The fans deserve it. As a college football fan, I'm a Michigan fan. I told you that. But as a college football fan, I want to see Nebraska back. So I'm excited to see Matt Rhule getting it done on the trail. Appreciate you guys checking us out again. The Nebraska fans, you guys show a ton of love and support. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.